Hey y'all, welcome back to my table of three. Today I thought I would show a super easy meatless Monday meal. It's a very frugal meal, but it's filling and it's healthy and it's an easy way to save on your budget because you're not using any kind of meat. You're going to get your protein from the beans that you put in my Orzo vegetable soup. I make this in the Instant Pot, but it can easily be made on the stovetop or in a slow cooker, and we'll talk about that as we go through the recipe. But first, let me go ahead and show you the ingredients that I use in my simple soup, and then I'll link the full description in the description box. If you click on that, it'll take you to my link on my blog that gives you the full printable recipe as well as some options and variations to the recipe that would help you choose maybe some other vegetables or a way to add meat if you'd like to have meat. But for right now, let's jump into this meatless Monday meal, a quick vegetable orzo soup in the Instant Pot. Here's just a quick view of everything that I put in the vegetable orzo soup. It's a very basic soup. You can actually adapt it to whatever your family needs as far or enjoys as far as spices and vegetables. But here's a very basic view at what I'm going to put in ours. So I have one medium onion cut up. I have 1 cup of chopped celery, and mine, I just chop my celery when I buy it, put it in the freezer because I find that if I don't freeze it, it wastes. So 1 cup of celery, onion. I have a bag of peas and carrots, and half a bag of frozen corn. I'm going to do 2 cans of diced tomato juice and all, some vegetable stock, and I have 2 of those. A can of green beans that I canned at home, but you can just use 1 15-ounce can or 2 if you like that, other than some of this other. And then I'm actually going to put some pinto beans that I canned. I am going to drain that, and I'm going to put that in there for some protein. Then I'm going to use simple seasonings like salt, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, and black pepper, and that's it. So let me show you how I throw this together in my Instant Pot really quick. You can also use the top of the stove if you don't have an Instant Pot, but I'm going to do it in my Instant Pot on the saute function. Oh, and then later, after everything is warmed up, we will add in a cup of orzo, which is a basically, I buy this in a 2.5 pound bag from Azure Standard, but you can get it at Walmart or typical grocery stores on the pasta aisle. So it kind of looks like rice, but it's a small type of pasta. So that's going to help bulk our vegetable soup up today. So let me show you how I do that in my Instant Pot. Okay, so my Instant Pot is going to be on the saute function, which means it's going to be heating up, and you can use it like a simmer pot or a pot on the stove. So you can also put some oil in the bottom if you'd like to. You can simply do that. I'm not going to do that today, but you could use avocado oil or coconut oil or anything like that. You could even use olive oil if that's something that you wanted to use on, when you're not avoiding it. So I'm going to put in the onion. I'm going to put in the celery, and this is a simple dump and go soup. You guys, this is really, really quick for those nights where you're busy throughout the holidays. But you need something to feed your family that is vegan or vegetarian, but still has a protein and will fill their belly. So this is just a bag of frozen peas and carrots. If you prefer just peas, you can naturally get just frozen peas or frozen carrots. And I'm going to put in frozen corn. I'm going to put in the rest of this bag, and it was half this bag, so it's probably about a 16-ounce thing because this bag is a 2-pound bag, and I had used half of it in our taco soup. So corn, onion, celery, carrots, and peas. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 can of green beans, optional. I'm just bulking it up because, right, we want to fill bellies, and it's really comforting and a really good soup, and the orzo is going to help bulk it up as well as give you a nice addition to it. So this is 1 quart of pinto beans. I'm doing that for protein because ours is vegan. Remember, no meat, no oil. So you could use any kind of bean you want. You could leave the beans out, and on nights where you're not needing vegan, you could add chicken or ground beef, but we're keeping it vegan. So 2 cans, and this is just diced tomato. I like the fire roasted. I don't have any of my own cans, so that's just from Aldi's, and this is 2 14.5-ounce cans. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, and this is pretty full, so it's going to make a lot. If you're a small family like us, it will last you for probably about a meal or 2. If you're a larger family, you may need to double it so everybody gets full, and maybe you'll want some left over. So I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons of salt. You don't want to go too heavy because remember your vegetable broth has salt unless you get salt-free. And I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of garlic because we like garlic. The full link to my recipe, basic recipe, is in the description of this video. You can click on it and it will take you to my blog and you can actually print this recipe out. Remember, that's just a guideline though. That was 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And yes, we have onions in there, but I like a lot of flavor. This is black pepper. We're just going to put, got a little too much. Okay, I put like 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. And then Italian seasoning, I'm going to do a couple of tablespoons. So this is just basically Italian seasoning. You could use whatever blend you like. If you don't have Italian seasoning, you could use oregano, thyme, parsley. What else? Rosemary if you want to. Okay, so we got that all in. Now all I'm going to do is add our vegetable stock. Again, if you weren't keeping it vegan, you could do beef or chicken, but we're going for just a vegan vegetable orzo soup. We would pair this with homemade bread, sourdough that I make, or some vegan cornbread muffins if you needed to fill bellies a little bit more. Because sometimes soup is filling and sometimes it is not, right? So now I'm just going to stir this up. And we're going to let this come to a boil. I think I need to add some more because that orzo is going to soak up a little bit. So it's a total of 2 boxes or 8 cups of stock. If you're using a larger, if you're doubling it, of course you need more. If you're using a larger crock pot, which you can use your crock pot and just simmer this on high for 2 or 3 hours. And then once it's hot, you can add your orzo in. Now, orzo only takes about 5 minutes to cook when it's boiling. So it would probably take about 20 or 25 minutes in your crock pot, slow cooker on high to get to where it was al dente and good. So I'm going to go ahead and let this boil. I'll come back and show you when I add the orzo pasta. It smells good already because of the Italian seasoning, but just look at it. It's definitely full of vegetables and flavor, and it's going to be delicious. So let me let this cook, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, so my soup, I just put it on the saute function of the Instant Pot, and we just went for about 30 minutes. For now, remember, everything that we put in this soup is already pretty much cooked except for the onions and the celery. And they don't take very long, so I brought this to a boil, and I have let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and everything looks tender. Now we're going to add our pasta or our orzo. Remember, I talked to you, I bought it at Azure, and I'll put a link to Azure in the description box below if you want to check and see if they deliver in your area. But you really don't have to because you can get orzo pasta at Walmart. And you can see it looks like grain, but it's actually a pasta made from semolina flour. It's used around the world. I know in Italy they call it, I can't remember, pastini, or basically that means little pasta because it's small. And it cooks pretty fast, and it's pretty sturdy, so it holds up in soups. So, and it heats really good in your soup. So if you're going to use any other kind of pasta, which you could use bow tie, elbow, whatever you have, I would not cook it in your soup. Honestly, I would probably cook it and then add it to your soup each bowl as you serve it. But the orzo, we're just going to add right in because it is one that works well just to cook in your soup. And since it's so small, it does cook pretty fast. And it's going to cook in about probably 10 minutes or so, 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to let this come back to a boil. And then you can't really see it in there, but it's going to puff up. It will absorb some of the liquid. So this will be a thick and hearty vegetable soup. If you like more broth, you probably need to add an extra few cups to make it really brothy. But I'm going to let this cook for 10 minutes, and we'll be back, and I'll show you what it looks like when we serve a bowl. It smells really good. All right, guys, here it is. It took about 10 minutes, and the orzo is cooked. I don't know if you can see it from there. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. You can see it looks like little grains of rice. That's the orzo. I am going to serve some up. My son is hungry, so we're going to just scoop it up. And you can serve this, like I said, with crusty bread. You could chips, tortillas, anything you want to serve it with. But we're going to serve it with a couple of homemade pretzels that I have. So there is that. Sourdough bread is really good with this as well. So we're going to serve this up and let him eat. And then I'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about this vegetable orzo soup. All right, guys, that is it for this quick and easy Meatless Monday meal. If you like seeing this video, please give me a thumbs up. If this seems like an easy recipe that your family would like, let me know in the comments if it's something that you would try. And as always, thank you so much for coming and watching the video today. I'll be back later with some more holiday-themed recipes. I just thought I'd pop in and give you one of these plant-based meatless options because Meatless Monday is something that quite a few people follow, and our family as Orthodox Christians, we go through the Nativity fast where meatless meals is something we focus on during this time of the holidays where we are preparing for our Savior's birth. So enjoy the recipe, guys. Again, find the full description, the link to the recipe in the description below. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.